Hello everybody and welcome to this week's Markets to Watch from Smack the Markets for week commencing the 11th of November. So this week we start the week off with a rather heavy news day for Great British pound markets. Otherwise the data slate seems to be a little bit lighter than usual at this time of the year. Having said that, the major focus of market sentiment and trader sentiment at the moment seems to be centered around the progression of the US and China trade negotiations, or that sort of phase one, getting that phase one deal over the line. Now that seems to be sort of blowing hot and cold, almost on a daily basis, and that seems to be sort of having a bit of an impact on sort of general market conditions. So let's go and take a look at a few markets here that we're keeping a close eye on in the trading room at the start of this week. Now, the first one, if we come and take a look at the Dow Jones here, this is the Dow futures contract. We can see that this market's been in an extremely sort of good run of lately. We've got some very nice strong trends here across the higher time frames and also coming down into the intraday time frames. Taking a look on the daily chart, we can see that we've got a very well structured trend here, and the market last week broke out into new highs. So the trend here, we're not sort of seeing any evidence of the trend changing. Otherwise, we might sort of expect some sort of retracement after the strong move that we've had last week, pushing the market into new highs. So what we're looking for is some sort of retracements here back into value sort of zones, and looking then for opportunities for the trend to continue. Now, if we come down to the sort of mid time frames, the 4-hour and the 8-hour time frame, you can see that if I open this one up here on the sort of 4-hour time frame, we can see that the market's sort of coming into an area here around that 27 sort of 500 price point here. So that's a nice area here within the context of the 4-hour trend for the market to perhaps find support. If it finds support here, then we could be looking for a continuation to the long side, and that's a move up here towards the and above the previous sort of highs. So that's sort of quite a decent sort of distance there, and we can see that the pattern here has happened again in the past, where the market's advanced on, it's sort of consolidated sideways, come back into levels, and then sort of moved on again. So this is a sort of general sort of pattern on the 4-hour time frame, and again looking for sort of evidence of the markets as find support here, and for the resumption of that long trend. If 27,500 doesn't hold, of course, then we need to sort of look for deeper retracement levels and move up the time frames for our analysis. So we've got plenty of those in the context of this market. So you can see here on the 4-hour time frame, there are other structure levels where the market could easily sort of retrace back into to find support zones, even all the way back into that sort of 27,000 sort of price point. And you can see that when we start to move up the time frame, or up the time frames here, that there are other levels here that also coincide sort of quite nicely with technical analysis. So 27 sort of 335 up here, the sort of previous sort of high zone here, also coincides with the moving average zone on the daily chart. And there's that 27,000 sort of level, that big key level and big psychological number as well. So for the Dow, what we're looking for, and generally US indices, what we're looking at is for support levels. We're looking for the market to sort of find support, and our bias is still to the long side, as long as these long trends are staying intact. Now, from a commodity point of view, if we come across to silver, silver is a market that's starting to look sort of quite interesting to us on the short side. So we can see here from the weekly chart, the market has had quite a volatile time over the past few weeks, but more significantly has broken underneath this $17 level. So now we've from the move higher, we've now sort of put in a low, lower high, lower low, broken through a significant $17 level, as you can see that here, and now starting to retrace back to it. Certainly the indicators are indicating sort of bearish momentum to the short side as well at the moment. So if we come down to the daily time frame, you can see the detail here a little bit easier. We can see rejections of higher prices sort of fairly clearly. $17 level here, sort of nicely broken, and that sort of puts the market into a potential sort of trading window down here towards the sort of around the sort of just above the sort of 16,200 area, 16,300 area. So there's still plenty of distance to the short side here on the daily time frame. Even coming down to the sort of 4-hour time frame, again, we can see sort of market perhaps pulling back into that sort of $17 level. Could be a nice area to start to look for sort of resistance areas for price. That's certainly what we're going to be looking for in the trading room. See if we can see some sort of trading opportunities underneath $17 to the short side on silver. Now, from a currency, from a Forex perspective, a lot of these Forex markets are looking sort of quite battered and quite bruised at the moment. One here that I'm quite liking the look of here is Aussie dollar. So if we take a look at Aussie dollar, really we can probably come up to the monthly time frame to get some sort of perspective. I mean, first of all, we can see that the market has been quite weak for some time. There's still some distance to the short side here down to this sort of old zone. But underneath that level, there is sort of quite a distance here, quite a sort of next window down here towards that sort of 60,000 level. So that's quite a move to the short side here. Now, if we come down to the daily time frame, we can see that Aussie dollar here has sort of weakened off. This upward move here has weakened off significantly. And this is in relation, obviously, to the strength in the dollar that we've seen over the past sort of couple of weeks. We've seen weakness coming in here into the Aussie, and this has now broken underneath a level through here, as you can see on the daily time frame. So the market's just underneath that level here. There is still indications here that we've got weakness in momentum at the moment, and this is a bit of a sort of a front. The sort of idea of this is really if the market can continue to weaken here and this resistance area holds, then a break underneath the previous daily candle here underneath this sort of level, so it kind of opens this market up for a bit more of a deeper retracement, and that's the opportunity that I'm looking for. It comes a little bit clearer if we come down to the 4-hour time frame. So on the mid time frames here, we can see that price has now sort of rejected higher prices here. Good 2 or 3 times up here at 69,200, rejected those. Now we've got the resumption of a sort of short trend starting to form in price, and you've got this sort of level through here where the market, if you sort of zoom out here, we can see that the market has found key support and resistance before, but underneath that it sort of opens up the price for a bit more of a move to the short side down towards that. I've got this level in just above that 68 level. So that's the sort of move that I'm looking for here. If this downtrend here resumes, we can get a break underneath this level, then I'm looking for opportunities short to take advantage of some of that trading window to the short side. So let me just tell you about the trading bootcamp that we're running. It's actually starting today for Blackwell Global. So if you'd like to come along to and find out more about this, come along to the Blackwell Global website. So this is the Blackwell Global website. Come along to Education, come down to Learn, and then you can click on the Trading Bootcamp title here. This brings you through to this page, and it tells you more about the Trading Bootcamp, which is an education program to teach you the techniques that we use to train to trade the markets. So the program, you scroll down the page, you can find out more about the sort of sessions here. The first session, which is reading price action, that session starts this evening at 7 o'clock London time. It's completely free of charge to join. If you'd like to come along and join it and find out a little bit more, you can come along to this page, click on sign up, and reserve your seat. Okay, so I certainly hope you find this useful, and look forward to speaking to you on the Trading Bootcamp. I'd love to see you on there, and look forward to speaking to you next time. Bye for now.